Hello, and welcome to Discounting. Today we will be going over how to unlock all fast travel points, aka the task called Vermin ties. Now, keep in mind that you get the quest early on. It does tell you it's going to take a while, and it does. So, three of the fast travel points are going to be unlockable in Chapter 2, while the last two are unlockable in Chapter 3. And most of them are story blocked. So, we are going to start with the easiest one first. If, however, you're only looking for a specific one, I'll make sure to mark them in the video. However, after this point, it's spoiler territory, so if this is something you want to try and figure out for yourself, that's fine. If there's one in particular that you're looking for, that's also completely fine. So we are going to start with the first three from Chapter 2, and then we're going to move on to the two from Chapter 3. Let's hope I can keep those numbers in track. So, out of the first three you can unlock, the easiest one is going to be the harbor. We shall go to the harbor. Now, there are a total of 6 fast travel points. However, the first two are going to be unlocked when you do the first task. So for me, I did hardware store was the first one I did, the first task, which then unlocked the discounting one as well. So we're going to go to the harbor. And as you can see here, there's a little dollhouse. Now, when you get this task, you're going to be told to talk to both Fisher and Barbara. However, Fisher doesn't offer much. Barbara, on the other hand, makes some note about them being cold and out in the open, and maybe they'd like a rat-size furniture, aka a dollhouse. Now, you'd be wondering, where do I find a dollhouse? Here's the thing. If you've been in the antique shop, you may have noticed this pink little house being sold here at the antique shop. Now, you might not find it your first time, so just keep visiting it day after day until it appears. Once you have that dollhouse, go ahead and take it to the harbor and present it here on this crate here. It's going to be outlined in gold, but you can't see it anymore. And this will unlock this fast travel point. Now, the next two are a bit story and also supermarket progression blocked. So the one for the forest is, of course, blocked until you've unlocked the forest. After you've unlocked the forest, you need to go here to the bottom left of the corner, and you may hear a sheep buying around in here. The sheep will be on top of this grate, and you can access this point through this little trail or another trail on the other side, but it is to the left of the factory. Now, when you spy the sheep, you may or may not notice that there are energy drinks lying all around it. That's a clue. So, after you find the sheep, it'll tell you to go talk to Carl. Carl will tell you the sheep's story, which is kind of not okay what they did to the sheep, but oh well. At which point you will need to go back to your store and grab an energy drink. Now you need to make sure you have the energy drink unlocked in your little mini mart. You take the energy drink, you bring it back here to the sheep, and the sheep leaves, and you've gone and unlocked this fast travel point. Last one you can unlock in Chapter 2 is the hardware store. When you activate this task, it'll tell you to talk to Ted here. I remember. Yeah, Ted. And he says something about feeding the rats to keep them out of his way. You'll get a clue about feeding them their favorite treat. The first thing that came to my mind was cheese. However, at this point, I didn't have cheese. So I had to ask myself, where am I going to get cheese? I thought about it. The farm made the most logical sense. However, at that time, I couldn't get any cheese. And that is due to the cheese being locked behind the story. You need to progress the story to where you are given a task by Carl here to go find a missing sheep. That little gold sheep right there. He is going to be over in the forest, and he's going to be up in the right-hand corner where you spy the spiral dot. You bring him back, and Carl rewards you with cheese after some persuasion due to the farm being used to cultivate the sheep for their meat and not their cheese. You persuade Carl to do the opposite, and he gives you the cheese as a reward. So up there, top right, that's where you'll find the sheep. At that point, you just need to progress the story till you get to chapter 3. That's where the real fun begins, because it takes so long. Well, it took me so long to unlock this particular grate. So I would advise you to try Tellar's home first. Now, you'll be tasked to talk to Tellar, and she'll tell you that she's seen the rats eat toxic waste. And you may go, where do I get toxic waste? Here's the thing. You're given a task called Resolutions from Miss Anderson, where you will have 4 things you need to investigate. One is the green ocean, and the other is the pink river, or the purple, whatever they call it when the tap water starts to turn colors. These 2 tasks unlock the next 2 fast travel points. The green sea unlocks Tellar's house, while the pink river, pink water, unlocks the farm. However, after investigating the green sea, you are given a new product from Barbara. However, along with that new product is the waste that she's been pushing out into the ocean, which you now must get rid of yourself. And this is what the rats want. So you go and get this type of waste that you now get every single time you order something from Barbara, and you give it to the rats. The last one, resolution, to get to the farm, the pink water. You go up to the farm, you investigate what's been going on, you find out what's been going on. However, he believes it's the niece, when you know it's definitely the rats. And you have to perform a ritual. He requires oats, a spiced apple, and a hake, which is the fish that Barbara uses to make the fish sticks. However, in order for Barbara to give it up, she requests that you sell 10 of her fish sticks in a single day. Once you have done that, she will give you the hake. You bring those ingredients to Carl. He does his little ritual and gives it out to the niece. All is happy. You come back the next day, and you find destruction on his farm. This is because the rats are not happy. They have run amok and caused quite a mess. At which point, you need to regather those ingredients for the niece ritual and feed them raw to the rats. So you need oats, fish sticks, the regular first fish sticks, and an apple. At which point, the farm fast travel point will unlock. And at that point, you will have all 6 fast travel points unlocked. And hopefully, you will have popped the trophy like I did on PlayStation, or get the achievement on Steam. I hope that was helpful. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye.